The first time I heard the breathing, I thought it was coming from the van's air vents. It wasn't, and by the time I realized that, I was already alone on a road that no longer appeared on my map. I had been working late deliveries for almost a year. It suited me. Less traffic, fewer customers, fewer conversations. The nights felt predictable, streetlights repeating in long rows, empty intersections blinking from red to green for no one at all. That night started like any other. The warehouse was quiet when I clocked in. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. A radio played softly somewhere in the distance. I scanned packages, loaded shelves, checked addresses. Routine, mechanical, comforting. Near the end of my shift, one last assignment appeared on my device. No weight listed, no package description, just an address I didn't recognize. Special handling required, the note read. Do not leave unattended. I hesitated. It was already past 11, but extra deliveries meant extra pay. I scanned the label. The box was lighter than expected, almost hollow. I loaded it onto the passenger seat and pulled out of the lot. The road out of town was darker than usual. The sky hung low and heavy, hiding the stars. My headlights cut through thin fog that hadn't been there earlier. The GPS guided me confidently at first. Left turn, 2 miles straight. Then, without warning, the map glitched. The blue route line vanished. The road beneath my tires no longer had a name. I slowed. The houses thinned out behind me until there were none at all. Just trees and silence. That was when I heard it. A slow inhale, then a steady exhale. Not from the engine, not from outside, from inside the van. I adjusted the radio, thinking it was interference. The breathing continued, soft, patient. I glanced at the passenger seat. The box sat upright where I had placed it. Still, the breathing came again, this time closer, as if someone leaned forward from the back cargo area. I told myself it was the wind. The structure of the van flexing, imagination filling the quiet. But I drove faster. The address finally appeared ahead. A single house at the end of a narrow gravel driveway. No neighboring lights, no visible street sign. Just a porch light flickering weakly against the dark. I parked at the base of the driveway. The engine idled for a moment before I turned it off. Silence rushed in immediately, and the breathing became clearer. One slow inhale, one long exhale, from directly behind me. I did not turn around. Instead, I grabbed the box and stepped out of the van. The night air felt colder than it should have been. The gravel beneath my boots barely made a sound as I approached the house. The front door was slightly open. No movement inside. No television glow. No voices. Just darkness. I raised my hand to knock. Before my knuckles touched the wood, the breathing stopped completely. The silence that followed felt heavier than the noise had been. "Delivery," I called softly. No answer. The door creaked open another inch on its own. A thin strip of black hallway appeared beyond it. I should have left the package on the porch and driven away. Instead, I stepped inside. The house smelled faintly of dust and something metallic, like old air vents. The hallway stretched longer than it should have. The walls were bare. No pictures, no mirrors, no furniture. The porch light behind me flickered once, then went out. I turned quickly. The front door was closed. I didn't remember closing it. The hallway ahead remained dim but visible. A faint grey light seemed to seep from somewhere deeper inside. The breathing returned. Not behind me now. Ahead. Layered, more than one. Slow. Out of sync. I swallowed and took a cautious step forward. My footsteps didn't echo. They disappeared the moment they were made. Halfway down the hall, I noticed shapes along the walls. Tall, narrow, too evenly spaced to be shadows. They leaned inward slightly, watching. The breathing synchronized briefly, then separated again. I reached the end of the hallway and stepped into a wide, open room. The shapes lined the perimeter, forming a loose circle around the space. At the center, something knelt. Its outline was blurred at the edges, like smoke holding a human shape. It was my height, my build. It lifted its head slowly, and I felt it looking at me, even though it had no visible eyes. I didn't run. I couldn't. The air felt thick, like water pressing against my chest. The shape stood. Its movements were careful, deliberate, as though learning how to balance. The breathing around the room matched its rhythm. It raised one hand, inviting. I should have refused. Instead, I reached out. The moment our palms touched, I felt something shift inside me, not pain, not force, just a quiet exchange. Memories flickered in my mind, driving alone at night, staring into mirrors, feeling watched in empty streets. The shape tilted its head, then stepped past me. As it walked toward the hallway, its outline sharpened. Subtle features forming. Eyes. A mouth. A face that almost looked like mine. The figures lining the room followed it out, one by one. The breathing faded with them, leaving me alone in the dim light. The house felt smaller now, ordinary. The front door stood open again. I walked outside without looking back. The van started immediately. The road behind me looked normal once more. Street signs reappeared. The GPS worked again. But as I drove, I noticed headlights in my rearview mirror. They kept the exact same distance behind me. Never closer, never farther. When I slowed, they slowed. When I turned, they turned. At the first intersection near town, I glanced back. There was no car, just empty road. I told myself it was exhaustion, stress. But the rhythm of my breathing felt different. A half-second delayed, as if someone else had practiced it before me. Back at my apartment, everything appeared unchanged. The hallway lights flickered faintly as usual. My door unlocked with its familiar click. Inside, the air felt still. Safe. I checked every room. Nothing out of place. Yet when I lay down in bed, I couldn't shake the feeling that the room was slightly smaller than before, as though something else now occupied part of it. Sometime after midnight, I woke suddenly. The closet door stood open a few inches. I was certain I had closed it. I stared into the darkness inside. No movement, no sound. I got up and shut it firmly. The click echoed louder than it should have. I returned to bed. Sleep came slowly. Morning light softened everything. The night felt distant, unreal. I made coffee, checked my phone. A new delivery assignment had already appeared. No wait listed, no description, just an address. And the same note, do not leave unattended. My reflection in the phone screen blinked a fraction of a second after I did. I froze, then blinked again. This time, it matched perfectly. I laughed softly at myself. Stress can do strange things to perception. In the bathroom mirror, I leaned closer. My face looked normal, but when I inhaled, my reflection waited, just a fraction, then followed. The delay was subtle, almost respectful, as if something behind the glass was considering whether to continue. I stepped back. The apartment was silent. No breathing, no footsteps, nothing. Outside, my van waited in the parking lot. I grabbed my keys and locked the door behind me. The hallway lights flickered once more as I passed beneath them. In the van, I adjusted the rearview mirror. The angle was slightly lower than usual, as if someone taller had changed it. I stared into the reflection. Calm, still, waiting. The engine started smoothly. The morning traffic felt ordinary, but beneath the familiar hum of the engine, I heard a second vibration, subtle, delayed, matching it. As I drove, I kept my eyes forward. The road ahead stretched clearly in daylight. People crossed streets. Cars changed lanes. Life moved normally. Yet the pause between my inhale and exhale lingered. A hesitation, a shared timing. At a red light, I glanced briefly into the rearview mirror. For just a second, I thought I saw someone seated in the back seat, head tilted slightly, watching me. I blinked. The seat was empty. The light turned green. I drove on. I don't know what I left in that house, or what left with me. I only know that when I catch my reflection in windows now, storefront glass, microwave doors, dark phone screens. I watch closely. Sometimes it moves exactly as I do. Other times, there's the smallest pause, a patient delay, as if it's still learning. And late at night, when the roads are empty and the sky hangs low, I sometimes hear it again. That slow inhale, that steady exhale. Not from the back of the van, not from the passenger seat, but from somewhere much closer, matching my rhythm, waiting for me to forget which one of us is leading. I don't know what I left in that house, or what left with me. I only know that when I catch my reflection in windows now, storefront glass, microwave doors, dark phone screens, I watch closely. Sometimes it moves exactly as I do. Other times, there's the smallest pause, a patient delay, as if it's still learning. And late at night, when the roads are empty and the sky hangs low, I sometimes hear it again. That slow inhale, that steady exhale, not from the back of the van, not from the passenger seat, but from somewhere much closer, matching my rhythm, waiting for me to forget which one of us is leading. If you enjoyed this late-night horror story, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more slow-burn psychological narrations like this. And tell me, if your reflection ever hesitated before copying you, would you keep watching it or would you look away?